Okay, so let's look at this. Dostoevsky's charters are rarely dash. Okay, I think it's a typo here. Must be characters. I'm looking at this here. Okay, are rarely dash. Okay, so let's look at it. In one chapter, a given character may hardly take part in dialogue, often retreating dash to a corner of the room. A few chapters later, that same character will be prone to bouts of dash, during which time he or she will speak in a ceaseless manner bordering on hysteria. Okay, so here we'll have to pay attention to the context as such. Now let's understand the context first, okay, quickly. So there's some sort of a contrast here, right? In one chapter, a given character may hardly take part in dialogue, often retreat. So this first character is not talking at all. Hardly take part in dialogue, often retreating dash to a corner of the room. So not talking, right? The first character. A few chapters later, that same character will be prone to bouts of dash, during which time he or she will speak in a ceaseless manner. So this is continuous talking, rambling. So which means I need to choose words in this blank which are contrast in meaning, obviously, right? That's one. So characters are rarely what? So it's showing some sort of instability, right? If I look at the options, I need a negative word here, right? Are you following? Hysteria, hysterical. Somebody is hysterical means what? They've gone mad, right? They are expressing some sort of a uncontrollable emotion, right? Are you following? That person is behaving hysterically. If somebody says that, which means that person is uncontrollable. They just lost their senses. They don't know what they're doing. They are unable to control their emotions, right? That's what hysteria is. Anyway, now let's get back on track. So which means rarely means hardly. I need a negative word. It cannot be amiable, right? So amiable is a positive word. Forthright means being very true, and that's also a positive word. So I can easily eliminate option 1, 4 and 5. Okay, let's look at 2 and 3. Stable is correct. Okay, so now let's look at it. Characters are rarely stable. So stable is fine. Now we have to choose between sullenly, docilely, logorrhea, dementia. Okay, for those of you who don't know, sullenly means somebody who is, sulking, becoming extremely silent, right? Because they're not feeling alright, okay? Like mentally. So that's docile. Docile means somebody who is very, easy to manipulate. Somebody who is docile, that person, you can easily control them. Very submissive they are, okay? So here, let's look at it. In one chapter, a given character may hardly take part in dialogue, often retreating. Are we talking about submission here, or are we talking about somebody who's just sulking and morose or brooding? Let's keep that in the parking lot, right? Third blank. The other blank is saying, hey, this person is continuously talking, non-stop going on talking. Now, logorrhea, for those who don't know, which means actually excessive use of words. That's the meaning, if you didn't know that. Right? And what is dementia is just the opposite, right? Dementia means loss of communication, loss of memory, right? And even concentration. So it's just the opposite, right? So obviously out of 2 and 3, it has to be 2. Sullenly is a more effective word in the context, and anyway, logorrhea is the right word, right? Because it means excessive use of words, and the context is saying that this person will speak in a ceaseless manner bordering on hysteria, right? So if you notice this is a slightly complicated one, only because you are not familiar with the meanings of the words, right? Slightly complicated. That's why I said, if at all you feel that a particular context is complex or complicated, that's only because you're not familiar with the words and their meanings. For example, even if you want to choose between 2 and 3, if you're familiar with logorrhea, you know for a fact that that has to be the answer. Otherwise also, dementia is not a very complicated word, right? Dementia, you should have read about this word. Dementia means loss of concentration, loss of communication. It's contradicting what the context is saying, which is she will speak in a ceaseless manner bordering. Are you following? That's a collocation by itself, this expression. Prone to bouts of something. Prone to means inclined to, likely, right? Bouts of. Either you can have somebody who's, bouts of crying or laughing. It can be anything. Bouts of doing something, right? It can be laughter, crying, any particular activity, intense activity. Are you following? Dementia is basically that's the last bit. In fact, I would say dementia and hysteria are pretty much synonyms. And that can be another clue for you to leave out dementia, right? It says this person is getting into this bouts of something which is leading to this. Dementia is loss of communication, memory, concentration, which is contradicting our phrase which is saying she will speak in a ceaseless manner. How can somebody who is not able to speak, losing their memory and concentration, speak in a ceaseless manner? Right? That's what I'm saying. The closest option will be option 2. Let's look at the next one. Although he was finally dash, the years of dash tore apart his social circle, ruined his health and dash his mind. So here again, looking at the context simply, right? Let's quickly look at the context. Although he was, so your clue word immediately, although, contrast clue word. Although he was finally something, right? So which means I need a contrast words. Although he was finally something, the years of dash tore apart his social circle, ruined his, so tore apart, ruined his health. So the next context, right, after this comma, the remaining of the sentence is definitely needing me what? Negative words. I need a negative word, I need a negative word in both these blanks. So although he was finally something, right, the years of dash ruined his health and dash his mind. So let's look at our options. So I have incriminated, vindicated, acclaimed, vindicated, vindicated. Out of the 5 options, 3 vindicated is 3. 3 options are vindicated. Incriminated means to accuse somebody that they did something wrong. Right? So that's not the word because I have although. Eliminate. Vindicated might be the right option because vindicated means to somebody who is cleared of some sort of a blame or wrongdoing. Right? Vindicate. To vindicate someone means to clear them. To clear off wrongdoing. So although he was finally vindicated, acclaimed also is a positive word. Can't have that. Right? Then we only have to choose between 2, 4 and 5. So I have 2 has self-doubt, 4 and 5 has suspicion, suspicion, and then 2 has deranged, mellowed and deranged. Okay. So quickly again, because ruined his health and dash his mind, it cannot be mellowed, right? Mellow is not the right word. Deranged would be the most appropriate word. Deranged means mentally unsound. This person becomes, that's the right word. So I can quickly eliminate option 4 also. So between 2 and 5, we only have to choose between these 2 words, right? Now it says tore apart his social circle. So what tore apart his social circle? The years of self-doubt or the years of suspicion? That's what we need to figure out. Self-doubt is not trusting yourself, but his social circle, which means others, though this person was cleared of wrongdoing or blame, right? Others did not always suspect this person. That's how it works, right? If somebody goes to jail and comes, the rest of the community will still not accept him because they always suspect this person to fall back or do something which is wrong again. Are you following? So the more effective word would be suspicion. Actually mellowed, somebody asked what mellowed is. Mellowed actually means, what can I say? Like becoming less harsh, right? You need to mellow down. If somebody says that to me, which means I need to kind of relax. Right? Mellow again has different meanings in different contexts. The example that I shared, if somebody says, hey, Sylvia, you need to mellow down, which means you need to calm down, you need to relax. That's one way of looking at it. But usually it's like becoming less harsh, right? Or in the context that I shared, the meaning is, calm down, relax. That's the meaning of mellow. Anyway, not the right word in our context. So the answer is option 5. Although he was finally vindicated, the years of suspicion tore apart his social circle, ruined his health and deranged his mind. It is a common complaint that people today have a short attention span. But is it that people are dash if the television camera dash a view? Or is it that the dash from one angle to another has trained the viewer to expect variety? See, pretty much the trick is to understand, if I have to tell you tricks, okay, it's the same tricks, it's nothing different. Whatever tricks you will apply for fill in the blanks is what you're applying now, because this is also fill in the blanks. It's just that more than 2 blanks, 3 blanks. That's about it. So far what we've applied is collocations, we've applied word class, we've applied if the context is giving us a positive or a negative meaning, right? We're looking for keywords or phrases, context clues. Those are all what we've applied. In this context also, understand the meaning the context is saying. Let's look at it. It is a common complaint that people today have a short attention span. Pay attention to clue words, right? So clue words, common complaint, short attention span. So this is a complaint basically. What is a complaint? But is it that people are this short attention span? What is the reason? Is it that the people are dash if the television camera dash a view? Or is it that the dash from one angle to another has trained the viewer to expect variety? So if it's a complaint, I can quickly eliminate positive words, right? What are all the positive words? Satisfied, fascinated, out. I have to choose between option 3 and 4, right? So if the people are impatient, if the television camera dash a view, rapidly changes a view or lingers over a view? Or is it that the inability to move from one angle to another has trained the viewer to expect variety? It can't be inability to move, right? It has to be constant shift, logically. So, let's make sense now. To linger over means what? To remain or stay in that place for long. To linger means somebody is staying or remaining in one place longer than what is expected of them. It's almost like they are reluctant to leave. This is a phrasal verb, to remain or stay in a place, especially longer than expected, usual, right? Longer than usual. So, is it that the people are impatient if the television camera is remaining in one place longer than usual, right? Over a particular view, or is it that the dash, the constant shift from one angle to another, this is another clue phrase for you, right? From one angle to another, has trained the viewer to expect variety. If it's inability move, how can you expect variety, right? One angle to another means this switching quickly, right? So let's look at the whole thing. It is a common complaint that people today have a short attention span. Why are they having a short attention span? Because that's what they're discussing. Is it that they are impatient because the television camera is, hovering over one particular view, remaining in that spot for too long? Or is it that the constant shift from one angle to another has trained the viewer to expect variety? You guys are not paying attention to the clue words and key phrases. Most of you are coming back and giving me the wrong option, which is not 3. The answer is 4. Okay? So paying attention to clue words and phrases, the complaint of them having short attention span. What is it? How is it? Why is it that they have short attention span? 1. They are impatient. Why? 1. Television camera is lingering over one view. That's why they are impatient, right? Why should they even be impatient? The reason is, imagine one camera is focusing on only one spot for a long time. You get impatient because of that. They can also be impatient because the camera is constantly shifting. Are you following?